from Aroundsquare, and it's June, getting close to the end of the month, and want to put together a little drop preview video for you like I normally do. Gonna blast through it all in one take here because I only got a few days left in the country. Gonna be away for 2 full months, going to Japan and China, and hopefully meet some community members, check out some of our suppliers and stuff. Got a bunch of stuff planned for that. So I don't know what's going to happen with our drop previews in July and August. May or may not get videos together, but I'll try to keep you guys all kind of up to date and informed. And we are going to definitely keep going full speed ahead with everything else in the business, including product launches, July and August. Like, that stuff's already planned out. It's just whether or not I'm going to be able to get my act together to do a the usual kind of launch emails and preview videos. Anyways, let's get into it for this month. What I'm flipping around here is my own personal set. It's kind of banged up, but these are the titanium Beavertail ends for the Remeshock chetki. So I've done up my own set here with I've kind of repurposed my Zircuitai accents that I had on another set, and I've put these on 16 beads plus the 2 Beavertail ends on the 1.2 millimeter Kevlar. And this has rekindled my love for the titanium Remeshocks. It definitely kind of brings the set back to life. I've gotten really used to flipping the lighter sets with the paddle ends or the Beavertail ends. And so it was like kind of strange for me going back to flipping the Remeshock in tie with the original ends. But I put these guys on and I'm super loving it. It's heavy and slow. It's a bit heavier than the original Remeshock ends that were 18 plus 2. This is 16 plus 2. But it's heavier. They do play slower, but it's like, as you know from other products, the heavier sets, they slow you down and they give you more tactile feedback, and there's an extra level of control that comes with that. It makes the beads a little bit less prone to flying off the end of the fingers or whatever. So that's definitely the case with this, and especially with the end weighting on these Beavertail paddles. They flip right into the hand, they stay nice and anchored, and the shape gives you that extra little bit of leverage kind of to lock things in position, and then to kind of like springboard or flick them around. So it's a really nice shape. I've really been enjoying it in pretty much all my sets, and by popular demand we've done them in titanium. So this set has been snipped apart, but this is what they're going to look like, pristine out of the box. It's got a light polish. It's not mirror polish, but they're beautifully polished, and we're going to have these as a 16 plus 2 standalone set with everything you need, as well as a 4-piece accent pack. I'm sorry I don't have all the details here with the weights of all of these guys, but it is heavy if if you're accustomed to playing one of the lighter sets, but it's not too heavy. You can see basically by watching me flip it around, you can kind of get a sense of the feel. I'm pretty sure, like especially those of you that play a fair bit, you can get a sense of the weighting and the feel just by watching how it moves through the fingers. All right, so hopefully that's the case. So these guys, be prepared. The ends are really difficult to machine, so they were expensive to produce. It's got to do with titanium being so hard, and then the holes being just like at this precise angle, and it's a very long hole, so you need like a pretty high-end equipment to machine that small hole through and not have it like drift or anything while you're doing it. All right. So anyways, that's what I got to say about those guys. Let's move on. This month we've got a bunch of glow stuff for you. So we've done before the glow POM, the glow Delrin. I think it was the Milo's 12 millimeter beads that we did. We're now adding the Commons beads to the glow range. Okay, and this is it's a machine finish, and it is POM, which is kind of the non-brand name moniker for Delrin. So it's basically the same material as Delrin, but with the glow aspect. So it's a nice feeling polymer material, and especially with this machine finished, it has like kind of a velvety feel to it. So we've got these commons in blue long form and in short form. Both of them have the titanium 15 millimeter little boss bead. Okay, and then we've got them in red, orange, I guess you could call it, but it's kind of that reddish material. And short form again. Okay. And again, that machine finish feels really nice. Happy with how it turned out. And then we've got also the white, kind of off-white color that has a greenish glow. Man, like the glow on these is pretty intense, especially the white ones. Like here I am in my study, and even though it's like broad daylight outside and I've got a light on behind the camera, I can like practically see these glowing straight in front of me. So they've got like a really nice like radiating glow, especially the white ones. The blue and the red, not quite as powerful, but it's still like you've may or may not have seen photos online from folks. They glow pretty bright, even these colors, and they hold their glow surprisingly well. What I've seen a lot of people do is just like they carry around a little torch, or even just use the light on their phone to give them a quick charge, and then they blast out in the dark. It's pretty cool. So we got these guys again in the long form and in the short form. All right. So that's that. Moving on. I'm gonna go with the things that are like more or less sure thing right now. Oh yeah, I've got these guys. Oh, how could I forget them? So if there's one product that people wanted us to add light to for like forever, it was our monkey knuckles or debulo. This dates back way before Aroundsquare even became like a well-known company. I was producing monkey knuckles just kind of out of the house for like a good number of years, like starting from the early 2000s. And then I had a first production run that I ended up signing over to Omega back in like the mid 2010s. But yeah, like since those like early days when monkey knuckles was like roughly my own product, or my only product apart from the blocks, people have been wanting a light up version, and we haven't gone like full LEDs. I'm still resistant to that for some reason. I don't know. It's like my analog brain hasn't quite embraced the idea of putting LEDs inside of toys. We figured a good compromise would be this glow POM material, just because it's such a good glow, right? And you can charge it up for a few minutes and then swoosh them around in the dark, and it looks really nice. So if you haven't checked out these before, I know this year we've done like the ebony version. We've done a couple of versions of the mini Dubulo recently. It's a really different kind of product than a lot of the stuff that we sell. It does require a little bit more space and two hands to play, but it's like I still maintain that it's probably like as far as the product range that we have, it's probably the most versatile as a straight up skill toy with like flow to it. You can just do so many different tricks, so many styles of play. You can hold one ball and flip the other around like a kind of like a yo-yo. You loop the loops and whatnot, right? Or even doing like string tricks and poise style tricks. You can do that sort of thing. So I was probably out of frame on most of that, but you get the idea. It's like just a very flexible, versatile skill toy with like really no ceiling to it. It's a lot of fun, and I love the weighting on these. They fit in the pocket so nicely, and just flipping around. I still love this product. Okay, that's it. We've got those. So all the stuff I've shown you so far, we have like in hand already. Another one we got in hand is these guys here. These were the unknown product last month. So we decided to take our little spuds, which you've seen previously looking like this, and we've already restocked a couple of times. We decided this time when we restocked, we would add a little bit of variety to the mix. So we've done the same kind of leather, genuine leather that we were using before, but we flipped it inside out. There was a couple of guys that were asking for some kind of a material with a little bit more friction, finding that, depending on conditions or whatever, these can slide off the kickers with the smooth finish and whatever. So if you're doing stalls and whatever, you might find them sliding around a little bit. I personally haven't noticed that, but I'm not that great with the foot bag, so listen to the pros. So we did, and so this one has the suede kind of finish on the outside. So it's just the same material but flipped inside out, and it gives you that kind of suede texture with a little bit more friction. And we've got it in the natty brown. We've got it in black, so we've got black with both options. And we've got a navy blue, again both options. And we've got this kind of light blue teal color. It's got like the right side out has a kind of a black speckle on it. It's kind of a funky looking material. It's like a little bit more of a powdery blue on the inside out material. So yeah, these guys are in hand and they're going to be available. Some people have already received them because they ordered them last month as an unknown product. Yeah, they're I have been practicing my own foot bag skills almost daily. It's another fun way to kind of just get active, take a break from what you're doing. It requires very little space. Like you do kind of need to be wearing shoes for it. It's difficult to do barefoot, but apart from that, you can kind of get away with doing it indoors as long as you're not bugging your downstairs neighbors or whatnot. Okay, what else we got? Okay, I have been talking about the mini standards a little bit online. So the mini standards are part of our standard range, which we I think we launched the originals standards, the modern standards, back in like 2016 or possibly early 2017. But it was kind of our way of paying homage to the ubiquitous Greek cylindrical, like barrel-shaped begleri that a lot of people were picking up from Etsy from Greek sellers that were listing them on Etsy. And they're just like a cylindrical kind of mystery metal, and bang them around. It's a great shape. And we decided, okay, let's kind of pay some respect to this design, use some more kind of standard modern materials. And I think that those ones that you get from Greece, a lot of them seem to be like cast, die cast. There's some kind of a casting technique. I don't think they're machined. So we decided, let's do precision machining. Let's do kind of the standard EDC materials. And we came up with the modern standards, and then we also did a mini standard. So the modern standards were 16 millimeters by 16, and the mini standards were 14 by 14. And back at that time, the conventional knowledge in the begleri space was like the heavier the better. So when we did the mini standards, we actually did it with like a reduced bore size in the bottom, like the recess in the bottom was pretty much filled in. So you couldn't even really get a full knot in them, if I recall, with 550 paracord. And they were heavy, like they were punishing on the knuckles. But with the weight comes that extra bit of control, and people loved them. But I think like over time, the preferences in the community have shifted towards lighter and lighter beads. And now being crazy to think that it's like 8 years later, we are like dwindling our inventory of the mini standards from our previous restocking. And I thought, okay, it's time to make some new ones. We're gonna go with kind of the current preferences, and we're gonna lighten them up a little bit by reducing the bore size. So you can see they've got a nice generous recess at the bottom of the beads there, and they're a heck of a lot lighter. So this is my own set that I've strung up on 550 here. This is a titanium set, of course. But you can probably get a sense of the weight from just like seeing how they spin around between the fingers. So it's a very lightweight set. Feels really comfortable in the hand, not punishing at all in the knuckles. I think I've got my cord a little bit long here. I don't play long game begleri that much anymore. I play short game a lot, and so I'm not quite as used to the long game feel. And I think I was a little bit too generous when I tied the knots in these guys. But anyways, you get the idea. Yeah, there's a titanium set, and we've got brass, copper, stainless steel as well. So the usual suspects. And I hope you guys enjoy these. It's a great little pocket set. Takes up no space in the pocket, and especially these like titanium ones, super light. But if you're like a copper fan or a brass fan, for example, I don't think we have any brass or copper sets that are lighter than these. Possibly the mini grays, but yeah, these guys are very lightweight. All right, and we do have these all in hand as well. So now on to some maybes. Got a couple of maybes this month. So I'm actually like really excited about this set here, this material and this design. This is what we're calling the Large Mangas. So it's actually not, let me see. It's actually not exactly a direct sizing up of the original Mangas begleri, but they're pretty similar. They've got that little bit of taper, like kind of a tapered cone shape, and they're a bit beefier in size because they're solid material. And this was designed, in my mind, this was designed as a short game set and designed to be done with lightweight materials. So we've actually got, I'll do a little teaser here right now. So these ones are acrylic, and we're looking at having these ready for launch. I think they should be ready for launch this month. But we've also got some wooden versions that we're preparing, and also got some samples in for Altum and clear acrylic as well. So it's a design that I got these samples a month or more ago, and I've been playing them pretty much nonstop as like my main begleri carry, and I've really been enjoying them, and I've been convinced about this design. Definitely a keeper, and it works really nicely for a design that's like all made of the lightweight material, so you don't have to pair it with a metal in order to achieve a decent weight. Okay. So, and it does actually, it plays, although I designed it for short game, I've got this set, wooden set, strung up as a long game set, and they actually play really nicely as a long game set as well. Okay. So yeah, the pink and blue and white acrylic, this material is super funky, and I want to show you. I was like giddy with excitement when I was unpacking the box, just by how like it's totally not my style. Like I usually go like straight titanium or copper, or like the heavier, darker materials. If I do Delrin, it's like black or white. But I saw this material and I was like, okay, we have to do this material just because it's so funky. So we got each of the beads is like entirely unique. So we got a couple of other samples here, and some other samples here. And when I saw this material and the kind of variation in the patterns of the material, I was like, okay, we totally have to also make some chetki from this material. So we did. And chetki, lightweight, very crisp feeling. The materials got like nice hardness, and you can probably hear that clack. It's just a very crisp sound, and it's polished. So I think the previous acrylic stuff that we did for chetki, I think those were machine finished, and so they didn't have a ton of grip. This set is polished, and they have a really nice grip. So just like the right amount of grip. I think that's like one of the challenges with chetki is they do kind of have a tendency to want to fling off the fingers for people who are trying to do begleri style finger rolls and manipulations. They don't have the same kind of control that paracord on the finger would have. But yeah, we've done them up. I've got a couple of sets here. So these are kind of a maybe. The reason is they're all produced already, but the supplier hasn't finished polishing them. So we don't have them all in hand yet. So we need to kind of wait and see. But you can see like how funky and varied the material is. Some of the pieces you can see like here, it fades from like almost like a teal color on this side over to the more blue on this side. And you can just see like variation between the pieces. So this is going to be a like get what you get and don't get upset kind of purchase. Like we're not going to be wanting to field requests for like more pink or more blue. They're all going to have a variety, and if you're into that variety, then great. And if you're not, then there's going to be other stuff for you. We've got lots of other chetki stuff planned for this year still. We're working on a couple of other materials for the Beavertail style. And we've actually got another style of chetki that's a little bit, it's still like a Remeshock sort of setup, but it's got a little bit of a different bead shape to it. And this is going to be coming a little bit later this year. So just a flash, another little preview here for you. Okay. A little bit more of a kind of traditional looking chetki set rather than the sportier Beavertail style. All right, moving on. Yeah, I don't know. Oh, I should mention too, the other thing the other thing when I saw this material, I was like, okay, we got to do the chetki. We also got to do what? We got to do obviously the planks, right? Because you can look at the variety and the grains on these things, and just imagine how freakish that's going to look on the planks. It's going to be awesome. And actually, I've seen the photos of like 4 or 5 of them from the supplier, and they look like absolutely amazing. So it's a maybe because we don't have them in hand yet, but they're all produced and we're just waiting on the polishing. So hopefully we'll get everything in time for launch. But yeah, if not, I guess it'll just be next month. All right. Then we do have an unknown product planned for this month, and I'll figure out the password situation with that. But in the meantime, there's also going to be a chef special. We decided to do something a little bit different for the chef special. This month we're doing, there's actually 3 separate things that you can get. These are just stuff that's dyed in the house. Here we've got some modern standards. It's just white Delrin that we've dyed with a teal color. It's a kind of a grayish teal, but it's really nice. We've got the stainless steel micro standards in there. So it's a nice, like super clacky, traditional kind of shaped set. And you know, it's the combination of Delrin with the stainless steel core is terrific weight. These guys have a lot of fans, but we haven't given them much love recently, so we thought it was time to do that. And we've got some other commons happening with the ultras, the glow ultras this month. We decided to do some stainless steel and Delrin commons begleri as well. So again, this is the teal dyed white Delrin. So if you've got white Delrin and you want to buy your own dye and do it yourself, you're welcome to do it. We use the RIT Dye More. It's a great product for dyeing Delrin. But yeah, if you just want some like a funkier color and don't want to go to the trouble of doing that yourself, we got them. Okay. And we also had some planks that had a little bit of like a unusual color situation happening. And I was like, okay, what's going to happen if we try dyeing these? And so we did, and we dyed them like this dark, like kind of eggplant purple. So these are also going to be, they basically totally resolved the color situation. They had like a weird kind of color variation going, and it was just like, they were a bit irregular looking. So we decided to give them a dye bath and see how they turned out. And I'm really happy with them. It's like a nice deep eggplant kind of purpley color. So if you're looking for a Delrin plank, especially like a kind of a more unique one that not a lot of people have, or if you just like purple, this is a good one for you. All right. Then this one here has been hiding from me because it's all wrapped up so carefully, but we have something else for you. So this is a brass plank, and I'm not even going to flip this around because it's too gorgeous right now. Like I am afraid of damaging it. It's like all wrapped up so carefully. It's just like a beautiful polish. Looks like a little bar of gold, right? Like a little ingot. But yeah, so the Nowhere planks, I've stated plenty of times, they are like not designed as a skill toy per se. And like, yeah, you can do some moves with them, but they're like, they're a bit of an exercise in frustration if you're trying to go for flow. But just as a little mindfulness tool, this is a copper one that we still haven't produced copper. This is still a sample, but it's like similar weight to the brass one there. But yeah, like they have just like a really nice presence in the hand, and they have the nicely rounded edges and corners to just like, you know, press into your hand if you want to just like have a little bit of kind of stimulation there, or if you do feel like doing some like mild kind of relaxing manipulations, there are a few of those kinds of things that you can do with them. Right? So yeah, got them in brass. They're super, super pretty. And as an extra bonus, if you have a piece of paper on your desk and you put the brass plank on top of that paper, it's probably not going to blow away. So it's just another use case because I'm super creative. All right. So I think that's it, everybody. I'll show this too. Check out this book. So I'm always researching like the history of begleri, history of komboloi, and like trying to get more information on the kind of cultural background of the different products that we're selling. And I came across a couple of like photos from this book online, and I like dug around a little bit, and I couldn't find anywhere to buy it. but I did find a listing that mentioned the name of the author or the editor. So I Googled around and I eventually found that person on LinkedIn of all places and sent them a message. Anyways, long story short, I have 10 copies of this. I was originally thinking like it would be nice to do like a VIP gift, like a thank you gift to like some of the top customers. But then I got as far as like trying to make a list, and I was like, oh man, like my list is nowhere near 10 people. It's like, into the hundreds of people. Like by the time you look at like, okay, the customers that have been around since day one and they order a couple times a year and they've just been like, they've supported me for like a decade at this point, or the people that are new to the community and they've just like blitzed it and collected the entire product range in a couple of weeks, and like everything else in between. We've got people that are well over 100 orders. We've got people that maybe don't order a lot, but they post online a lot, or they're just like they're cheering for people, or they're pushing the envelope, like creating new tricks, or they're just like active and supportive, awesome people on Discord or in the Facebook group or whatever. So there's just like, as you hear me talking, you're realizing, oh yeah, like that's a heck ton of people. And it is like, it's too much to do justice. And I love saying thanks to people. I hate running the risk of like missing out on thanking people. And so I thought like, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make a list of like probably a couple hundred people. It's easy for me to generate just like all the names that come to the top of my head from like Instagram, from Facebook, from customers who I'm always writing thank you notes to. And then like to make sure I don't miss people, I'll go through some of the like the lists from our Shopify store and whatever, and just like previous contests that we've done and that sort of thing. And so I'm going to end up with a list of probably like a couple hundred names, and I'm just going to draw who those people, I'm going to pick 10 names from that list, and I'll send them one of these books. And they're, it's, I've read through the book myself. It's pretty cool. It talks a lot about amber and the traditional materials, but it also has some like cool tidbits in there about, some of the background stuff of Comboloi and Greece, some of the materials that like why they're significant, but it talks about the reason for the different setups, the odd numbers, the space between the beads, and some of the kind of personification of like these tools as companions rather than just like accessory items or whatever. So I think that's about it for now. Thanks for bearing with me, and I hope to see you guys all next week. Product launch is going to be next Friday at the Beaver.